Hey, Tommy Allen from TommyAllenMusic.com. This week I'm going to be chatting with a good friend of mine, Matt Long. We're going over his things like his music, his influences and his gear. Let's get straight into this. Thank you for joining me here on this day. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure, always. We don't get to speak that often, really. Only passing, don't we, at festivals a little bit.
That's very true. And like every time we meet each other, either one of us is about to go on stage. It's like, oh, I'll catch up with you in a minute. Yeah. And then we never do.
No, then you go.
He's like, it's good to actually chat.
And like you say, just with what's going on at the moment, I thought everyone's playing, so it'd be nice for just people to connect and chat and, share what's coming up possibly. Obviously, we don't know with everything being cancelled for everybody, but obviously we had some sort of agenda, ahead, and I don't know how much that's affected you right now. I know I've had a lot of festivals cancel.
Everything has basically just been cancelled, and it's hard to say when we're going to be back because we don't know when all this is going to be finished. No. So it's hard to say when my next gig is. So it's a very weird situation.
But good time to write, I suppose.
Great time to write. I've had writer's block for a long time, so I'm hoping like months of isolation will help break that.
But I thought I'd try and ask a few questions maybe that other people that wouldn't. So I was going to start with what was your first introduction into music, and how old was you?
First introduction to music, probably I would say it would have been my dad.
I thought that would be the.
Yeah, it's hard not to. I mean, it's similar for a lot of guys, in especially in the blues world. It's a lot of dads showing them their favorite kind of music from when they were growing up.
Was that your first channel into blues then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So dad used to show me like old B.B. King records and all the old school stuff, Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, things like that. I just absolutely loved it straight away.
You did.
Okay. And it's hard to say how old I was. I would probably guess around 4, maybe 5 years old when I started really like getting into it, like music in general, but especially like blues music.
And what was your mum into?
Well, mum's into everything as well. She's very musically capable. She may not play an instrument, but she knows what she likes and she knows what's good. And she loves everything really. She's like, I'm trying to get her to listen to more country.
All right.
But,
not working.
It's not quite happening. I just heard her scream from the other room. So, I think everyone even my brother, like he, again, he may not be able to play an instrument. He's tried. He tried the same time as me to start learning drums.
Right.
He just never could get into it. But even without that, he's still like very, very into music. He's got his own taste. He's a lot more into the modern kind of thing. But between myself, my dad, and my mum, we've got a lot of blues love going on, and my brother can tolerate my playing every now and again. So,
well, yeah, he's had all them years of practicing, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. In return, I sometimes show up to his football events. So,
well, it's got to be done. It's got to be done.
Yeah, we've got a good deal.
And what about the blues? Obviously, Dad got you into that.
Yes.
But was there any a time where you ventured out and started finding your own?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I ventured out into rock music.
Yeah.
Not too long after blues came about for me.
What sort of era rock?
I remember vividly the first time I heard AC/DC.
Yeah.
The Back in Black album. And just being absolutely blown away. The second like you hear the hi-hat on like Back in Black, it's just one of those songs you instantly recognize. But I remember the first time I ever listened to that going like, oh, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, bang, it hits in. I was like, that's the coolest thing. And yeah, ever since then, just it's
a 70s sort of rock.
Yeah, like 70s rock, Led Zeppelin. Huge love for Led Zeppelin, one of my favorite bands. 70, all of it really. I mean,
Free?
When I went through,
was your
when I went
Free?
to college, I love a bit of Free. I do love, especially Paul Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think he's one of my favorite vocalists. But then through college and things like that, I went to Well, I went to music college, and my best friend at the time, still a good friend, best friend at the time was very into like 80s metal and metal music in general. And she just really got me into lots of these cool little things. So I was in a sort of, I wouldn't call it glam metal, but I was in like a 80s rock style metal band for a while. It was really fun. You used to dress up in like the leather trousers and all that kind of stuff. It was really fun. But yeah, I'm 25 now, and I think my musical appreciation has expanded to. I always say, no matter what genre it is, I think there's going to be something in that genre that every single person is going to like.
Yeah, there's only two kinds of music.
Like the same thing. Exactly. Yeah, there's going to be one element about every kind of music that you're going to enjoy.
Yeah.
So like rap music, I didn't used to appreciate that, but now
I'm listening to rap.
Yeah,
and hip hop.
So cool. Yeah, like when it's done well, it's done really, really well. I'm not much of a fan of like the they're called the mumble rappers.
No, well, I don't know. Like you say, you hear stuff and then you think, "What's that?" And then you search it out, and then I've had D'Angelo on quite a bit over the last sort of couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But the early Voodoo album, with some of the grooves and the beats and the rhythms in it, you know.
Yeah. It's so cool, you know.
So it's the same. Everything, you got to listen to everything.
Everything. Yeah. Got to give it a go.
What else have I got in here? What was your least favourite subject at school?
Ooh, it's tough because I was bad at a lot of things, but that doesn't necessarily mean I didn't enjoy it.
Did you go?
Yeah, I went.
I was one of them kids that once I played, I stayed at home.
No,
I was playing.
I would have done, but my parents would have disowned me at the time. No, I enjoyed aspects about everything, but I think the one I struggled with the most was probably science.
Science.
I enjoyed it. Like, maybe actually, to be fair, I think it was more the teachers that I had different. I went to a lot of different schools growing up, and I had various different teachers for all my subjects. Obviously, different schools. And I went from early on in my school career having really great science teachers who used to have like experiments all the time and really practical things, to later on like secondary school area things, and just it was all like just copy down what was on the board and then that's it. I wasn't learning anything and things like that. But yeah, I think that was the one I struggled with the most. Although it is really fun, I do like want to get back into doing experiments and things like that every now and again. It's kind of fun.
Well, now's the right time.
Now is the right time. I've been saying that a lot recently. Yeah.
But with music at school, could you read music?
No, and I can't say I can now.
They didn't do that at the Guildford college you went to.
I did. I can probably, if you give me enough time, I can probably, learn the passage and things like that. But it never was my area. It's hard. It really is. And I think it's down to the way people learn originally, whether they can pick things like that up easily or not.
I was not good at music at school, so.
Well, this is the thing. Is like I imagine people like you and me, we learn through like just listening, like listening to records and just trying to replicate things. So I had a friend of mine in college who had only been playing. If I was in a band, I am technically still in a band with him. And he was playing for a lot less time than I was. I was playing since I was 6, and I guess I was about 18 at the time, something like that. And he was slightly older than me, but he'd only been playing for about, I think, 4, maybe 5 years at the time, which really isn't that long. But he was incredible, like just really, really great and technically brilliant guitarist. But he learned through reading and all the theory side of things. Which is how he managed to learn so quickly, because he just had it all in front of him and he just put like his whole life into just learning through that. Whereas I learned from the age of 6, just kind of over time, just listening to stuff. So I found I was talking to him about it, and we found we were lacking in certain areas that the other person was excelling. So, for instance, I couldn't read music, and I wasn't very good at like theory, things like that. But I had a better ear than he did, so I could pitch things better, and I had more of a more of an ear for tone and things like that. Whereas he could play anything that you put in front of him on a stave, but he said himself he's like needs to work on his vibrato and his general tone finding on an amp and things like that. So I think that's something that fascinates me, is that there's no one way of learning how to play, and I think it just makes it so everyone is completely unique, even if they learn the same way. Everyone just has their different experiences with when they learn, and they just pick up certain things along the way. I think that's fascinating to me. It really is.
What was your last brick wall you hit then with your learning?
Brick wall. Ooh, I've always said you never stop learning.
But have you come to a point where you feel that you like you're playing sort of reaches a line, and then you feel you're trying to look or reach out to move it on, but yeah,
I think that's fairly common for a lot of guitarists. I think they get to a certain point in their career, or even just their playing playing time, when they're like they don't know how to carry on. As in, they don't know how to progress. Should be a better way of saying it. And yeah, I've gone through that many times. And like I said, I've had writer's block for a while, which is kind of a similar sort of thing. And the thing is, you never know what's going to break you out of that funk, because it could be anything. It could be a certain song that you hear, or you hear a new artist for the first time. You go to a certain gig. It could even not be related to music. It could be a certain film that you see, or a certain book that you read, things like that.
Well, I find distancing myself from playing.
Some people take like time out and just like come back to it in like a couple of months' time, and suddenly they're like, "Oh wait, there's new things here." But yeah, a lot of the time it's harder to do that, especially if you're touring around.
Well, that's sometimes the worst when you're playing night after night. You fall into little pockets of the same.
I have to admit, I was kind of feeling like that for, like I say, a couple of times when I was just on the road so much that I wasn't writing anything, just because I was, the second I got home after a gig, I was like, I'm not going to pick up a guitar. I've just done a whole day's worth of work.
When the vibing live, everyone's loving it, but for some reason, for us, it's like it just doesn't have that something it had. You need something to make it new every time, so it's not interesting, but it sort of feels different.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's so meticulous.
But everyone else loves it. They're not seeing it. It's a feeling.
No, exactly. Yeah, they don't see, like, when you're just, funny enough, in your room and trying to learn things, or trying to play new things, or trying to write new things, and it's a lot going on, because everyone only sees you for 2 hours at a time when you're on the stage, and then maybe a bit afterwards to kind of have a chat. But it's hard to say, like, it's hard to know someone really until you see how they work. Yeah. And I think it's really interesting to see how, because like I say, people work in different ways. So I think everyone has a different answer as to how they get out of like slumps. Yeah. So like anything can make something work for someone. Like like I say, it could be any form of just anything can kind of bring you out of it. So there's no right or wrong answer as to how to get out of things like that, really.
So what's your other hobbies? What do you do other than music?
It's I like a lot of video games.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
Was it PS4 or Xbox or?
PS4.
Right.
Yeah. I'm trying to play a game with my brother who's locked down at his house.
Right.
And we've just downloaded a new Call of Duty game.
Okay.
So basically just shooting people, things like that.
I don't play. The only time I put the PS4 on is to watch Netflix or.
Oh, fair enough.
But I know the boys here. Yeah. The boys here have it, and they're on it from the minute they open their eyes to the minute they go to bed.
It's fun. It's it can range from any kind of genre of game, and it's a great way to pass the time. I'm not gonna lie.
But I struggled. I tried Star Wars. I think it was they had, and I was just going round and round in circles, looking at the sky. Yeah. I couldn't figure out the bloody control. So
yeah, no, I think I played that game as well. It's a great game. But yeah, some people just like my girlfriend
Samantha, it's
tried
okay.
to get into it. Samantha, yeah.
So we know Samantha. Hi.
She told me to say hi, by the way.
I was going to ask later how is everybody, but yeah.
Yeah, she's doing great. She says hi. But yeah, I tried to get her into a bit of gaming a while back, and she likes certain things. Like she likes The Sims,
right?
For instance, with like a house simulator kind of game. But no, some people just don't have the patience for games and things like that. They just want to, they got other things to do and things like that, which I totally get. So it's not for everyone. But yeah, games. I'm really into. When I was back in school, my other favorite thing to do was acting and drama.
Okay.
So I have to say, if I wasn't doing music, I would be probably pursuing a career on the stage, stage show and things like that.
Was that?
It's funny enough.
Was that a school?
Yeah, at school. I was in a few school productions and things like that. I absolutely loved it. And a few outside classes and things like that. It was one of my favorite things to do. But funnily enough, all the things that I would choose as a career are all the things that pay the least amount of money.
Well,
so
it's the way.
Creative things. But yeah, no, I just really enjoyed acting, and I actually really want to get back into it. It's hard to find time when you don't know when you're going to be home to actually go out and do a hobby. So it's hard to say if I have any necessarily, but yeah, I do. Everyone has a hobby.
Right. Yeah. And you got your own place? Did I read somewhere? You come home, you staying at your mum and dad's, or?
I'm staying at my mum and dad's now, and I am here a lot. I kind of spend half my time in each place. But yeah, I do have a house in Guildford. Yeah, that's right. My house is in Guildford.
Is that with other musicians or?
I have some housemates. Yeah, no, they are currently going to the college that I went to.
Oh, okay.
ACM in Guildford. So
a good place for bouncing ideas in.
Exactly. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're right in a residential area, so we can't exactly have a jam every now and again. But it's nice. They're nice. They're nice guys, and they're a good bunch of lads, and good fun to hang out with and talk. Yeah. Like we kind of, if they weren't musicians, we wouldn't have a lot to talk about essentially.
So with your songwriting, what's your method towards songwriting?
It can change. I would say the main two areas would be obviously guitar first a lot of the time. Like, you find a riff or a chord sequence and things like that, then you put one down and put lyrics to it. Or it's the other way around. You find a lyric or a melody line and then you put some chords to it. So I have a lot of backed up recordings on my phone. Just sort of like little acoustic guitar bits and little ideas that come into the head.
Right.
Or a melody line that I just kind of hum into my phone. And also my notes on my phone, I've got so many lyrics that I can, if I ever find the right kind of course, then I'll make some songs out of that. But yeah, it's there's no like, I never sit down and think I'm going to write a song. Because I always find that makes it forced in a way. Okay. Like, it always has to come like naturally off the head, which can lead to writer's block a lot of the time, because then sometimes you just go for a long time and just not write anything because nothing's kind of come to you. But I've always found I preferred my songwriting when it's just come at like 4 a.m, and you just think of an idea and you have to pick up a guitar and write it then and there, otherwise you're going to lose it. Rather than sitting down and like, I'm going to write a blues song today, or I'm going to write a rock song today, because it never happens for me. Some people can. Like I say, everyone's different.
And you write on guitar?
Yeah, write on guitar. I can't really play any other instruments. I'm learning the bass at the minute.
Okay,
actually.
But piano, because your dad plays. I wonder if you picked up any.
No, I actually started out on piano rather than guitar, and I just couldn't get into it. I love the instrument. It's a beautiful instrument, but I could never play it. Or I was never satisfied with how I was playing it. I wanted to be able to bend notes and, make it all distorted and sound rock, essentially. But there's no real way of doing that. So yeah, I ended up going over to guitar. But I that's another thing I find interesting about other musicians, is they all have a different way of writing music and they all have different styles. I was speaking to my friend Stevie Nimmo, and I can still never fathom how he does it, but he said to me he doesn't write songs until he needs to do an album. So whenever he's like, right, I'm going to do an album now, and they just write for like days and just get a whole album out like that. And I just can't ever. So he just turns it on when he needs it. And I find that fascinating because I could never do that. I'm just, like I say, it has to come off a whim, naturally kind of thing. But I would love to be able to just actually sit down, turn on the writing switch, and just be like, right, I'm going to write a whole album today. But I think it's just fascinating how people work sometimes.
Yeah. It's a funny one, writing. Mine's a bit similar to yours, I suppose. I write on guitar, just come up with ideas. But then saying that, I've got songs that are probably almost as old as you now.
Yes.
That I haven't finished that are really good, but I just can't get that thing it needs. So they just sit there, and I keep coming back to them. And
I have many of them as well. I think everyone does. Like with musicians, I think there's always a song that they've always wanted to finish, but they never could. Yeah. Like there was with one of the new projects that I've been starting. One of the songs I actually started writing when I was about 14, 15 years old, something like that. And it's taken me 10 years to finally finish the thing and actually get it, in the set. So yeah, it's weird. And then sometimes a song comes to you, you write it instantly. The whole structure just comes down in one go.
Yeah.
So,
and then you find, I don't know if you found this yet, but you write a song, and then obviously it might be a bit negative about love or something, and then the partner that you're with now thinks it's about them.
Yeah.
And then you're like, nah.
Yeah, no. So no, don't worry about it. It's fine. I remember so I wrote a song about for Catfish called "Leading Me On," which was about someone looked like they were into you and they were like kind of asking you out and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then you actually go to ask them out, and then like, oh no, sorry, I'm not interested. So things like that. And then, so I wrote that ages ago. And then one of the relationships I was in, it ended horribly, and they ended up like cheating on me and things like that. I'm fine with it now. It happened. But yeah, this person then wrote to me saying is leading me on about her. And I was like, nope, no, don't worry, it's all good. It's not about you. Don't worry, there'll be a song written about you at some point. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah. Watch this space.
Yeah, I know. So exactly. Yeah, there is a song written about that person now, so it's fine.
Can you tell me where you see yourself in 5 years' time, or your music? Where do you see yourself heading? You're going to stay on the blues? You're going to move more into rock?
I want to say that I'm going to be equal amounts in both. I've always loved both kinds of music with equally as much as each other. So I can't ever say I prefer one.
No, to us, music's music.
Exactly, yeah, and yeah.
But I mean, to your fans is what I mean. People that like you for the blues stuff.
I think it varies. I think there are some people who
some are crossing over to both things. All the stuff you're doing.
Yeah, mm-hmm. some people like both of the things that I do, or a lot of the stuff that I do. There are certain fans who prefer probably my blues stuff, I'd imagine, and then there will be certain fans who prefer my rock stuff.
Are you travelling around in different circles with the rock bands? It's Matt Long and the Revenant ones, isn't it?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah, no, we're it's kind of starting again in a way, because with Catfish we never did do a lot of the rock places.
Yeah,
we did a couple, but yeah, no, it was different. It's a different scene, so we are kind of starting back from square one again with the Revenant ones, which is a good thing. I've actually quite enjoyed. Like the smaller gigs and things like that, for instance. And
is that 3-piece?
Yeah, 3-piece. Yeah. I was intending to make it a 4-piece with an extra guitarist, mm-hmm. but a couple of reasons. One, it would be another mouth to feed, and we're not making any money at the minute, so it would be hard. And two, when I did the original rehearsals with Adam and Kev, didn't need it
right.
because they were so tight. They were a great rhythm section, and that's the key to having like a power trio. There's a really great bass player and drummer, which Adam and Kev, they're the best guys I've worked with, I think.
And how's the band politics with that? Is it all your stuff, or is it split between them, or?
It's mainly me.
Right.
I did say to them how, because it originally started out as a solo project, so I was going to kind of write everything and then have like session musicians come in. And then we did one rehearsal with Kev and Adam, and just it worked so well that I wanted to make it a band. But the writing is predominantly me. They contribute as well. Like there's a couple of songs on the upcoming album that I went over to Adam's house to help do some demos and kind of flesh out the songs originally. And he contributed a few things to a couple of songs here and there. But yeah, no, it's mainly my writing. Not that it's necessarily going to stay that way. I mean, if they write something really cool, like if they come up with something and it fits with the band and things, that obviously I'm going to use it. I'm not like this has to be my thing. I was for a bit, and then I'm kind of more relaxed towards it now. But yeah, no, it's difficult because things like that can split up a band. Like, who gets credit on things like that. So you really got to be careful with things like that. I love the guys so much. I'm so lucky to have them playing with me. And actually, funny enough, the Kev has now joined Catfish.
Okay.
So, because unfortunately, Kevin, our old drummer, he just couldn't hack it with us anymore. Not on a personal basis. It was just too busy. You want to spend time home with his family, which we totally understand. So yeah, and I kept racking my brain to try and think of drummers to play with Catfish, and I was like, you can't have Kev because he's already in the Revenant ones, and you've got to keep bands different and separate. But the main thing that just kept coming back to my head was the fact that Kev is just one of the best drummers I've ever worked with. So. And I think it's just he's going to lend so much power to Catfish now.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's difficult to say where I'm going to be in 5 years' time because I don't even know where I'm going to be in 6 months' time.
No, I get that with what's going on.
So,
but I mean, if you had, I wonder if you had a plan. If you had a 5-year plan for yourself. But,
yeah, I'm definitely going to do both. I'm always going to have something blues and have something rock. I think that's always how I want to do things. It keeps me in a good place to write music. Because then if I write a blues song, I have a blues band for that. If I write a rock song, I have a rock band for that. If I end up starting to write country stuff, I'm going to have to start another band. So... but yeah, no, I'm always going to play both. I'm never going to try and single out any particular kind of music.
And you got the solo stuff you've been doing. I've seen you've been around. With the lounge projects, when Alan.
Well, yeah, there's the Live in the Lounge. I want to shout out Mr. Alan Bates, who kind of started off that whole thing. He's fantastic.
We need more like that, yeah.
Yeah, we need more people like Alan. We really do. I love that man so much. But yeah, he started off just having bands in his garden. I think he had Els Bailey was the first. Actually, no, that's not true. A couple of my friends, Yoka and Ray Qureshi, they did like a little jam in Alan's kitchen. Just they had a guitar, they started jamming out, and it ended up being a whole gig. So they kind of sparked off the idea, but the first gig was Els, and then I think I was the second one. And I was the first one to play in his living room rather than in his garden. But yeah, no, that's up until that point, I had never really done much acoustic stuff. It wasn't my area. I'm more of a obnoxious, shreddy, electric guitar man, and I still am. But
it sounds great, Matt. Everything I hear you do, it all sounds great from my side.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The acoustic stuff was nice.
With the acoustic stuff, at the minute, it is acoustic versions of Catfish songs and Revenant 1 songs, and then covers. But I am planning, with all this spare time on my hands, I am planning on actually writing more stuff just for the solo acoustic stuff, because I really enjoy it, and I didn't think I would enjoy it as much, but I actually really enjoy it now. It's really, really good fun. I'm doing more gigs with it, so I kind of want to get some stuff recorded at least, even if it is the covers. But
new albums coming up, so we can get a bit more. What's promotion out there?
Exactly.
We got coming up.
So, so we're doing in our lockdown state. We're Catfish planning ahead for some recording, so we want to come out the gate with something as soon as all this is finished. We want to have something out there.
Right.
So we're recording a couple of things. We're recording. I don't know if this is all official yet, but we are recording some acoustic stuff.
Right.
And we're going to try and also get some more full band things, at least written.
Is this in your dad's studio?
Recording. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's there where you are now. That's at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. He's probably downstairs right now working on it.
Okay.
So, and I should probably do some more work on it after we finish this. But we're kind of mapping out the songs, and then we'll send them over to Kev and Adam, so they can put like their bits on it. So usually we do it like live in the studio. We put the drums down, and then we can do everything else back at home. But obviously we can't do that right now, so everyone's kind of doing it from their own little home studio.
Okay.
Which is cool, actually. It's kind of fun.
Can you record drums at your house? Not
at my house, no.
At your dad's house, where you are.
No, not my dad's house. No, it's we can if it's quiet, like like a softer, like more acoustic kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
So we could theoretically, if all this coronavirus stuff wasn't happening, Kev would probably be around here right now putting down his drum parts if he wanted to. But obviously, can't do that. No, for when we recorded the albums, we had a couple of days in the studio.
What, local?
Local studio. We recorded, let's say, the last two Catfish albums. We went to Brighton Road Recordings.
Okay.
Funnily enough, near Brighton. We worked with a guy called Jake Skinner. It was very good. Just so we would play. A full band would play, but we would only record like the drums and maybe some bass,
right.
and then do everything else back here. All the guitar stuff, all the vocal stuff, and things like that. It means we get more time to get it how we want it, which unfortunately means it takes all the time in the world.
Well,
but because I recorded the two different with the Revenant ones, I recorded it completely differently and did it like the normal way of going to a studio and recording everything there, rather than kind of doing bits back at home and things. I ended up doing some bits back at home just because I ran out of money, so I had to do it back at my place, my dad's place rather. But so we did it more on traditional methods and cost a lot more money because we spent more time in the studio.
Yeah, well,
but it's come out differently, and that was my intent, because I could have easily asked my dad to do the same sort of thing, just record the drums and then do the rest of it back at home. But I wanted to make it different. I wanted to do it more traditional in that way. So the Revenant ones do have an album, but unfortunately, we were just about to start doing some singles and doing some music videos and things like that, right as all this started happening. So now we can't do that, because I really, really want to do some music videos for this thing, because it really helps with promotion. And so we were originally intending to have the album out probably in the next month or so, but I don't think it's going to be the case anymore, unfortunately, which is really sad. I was really looking forward to getting it out there as soon as possible, but I want to do it right, because I spent a lot of time and money on this, and I'm very proud of it. I want to give it the best shot I can, rather than it being a flash in the pan.
Right.
So we're going to hold off until all this is kind of blown over, and then come out come out, rocking.
So you're gonna have two coming out then for Catfish and the Revenant ones.
Well, the Catfish ones are probably going to be like the acoustic thing. We're going to try and finish it off as soon as we can and just have it out there,
right?
Almost straight away. If we're going to do the more of the whole band, like electric EP, for instance, or album, whatever it ends up being, that might take a bit longer because again, we want to record that properly. So like I say, have the drums recorded in the studio and then do the rest here. So that might take a bit longer. But we are keen to get something like that out soon because we've got our new drummer, Kev, and we want to get something with him playing on it. Because at the minute, all we've got is Kevin on the previous two albums. Nothing wrong with that. Absolutely, he's a fine drummer. But yeah, we want to get a new stamp for Kev to get out. So we'll be working on that soon. And then, like I say, the Revenant Ones album will be out. I can't say when because I don't know when all this is going to be over.
No.
But as soon as it is all over, we'll start working on it again and get some singles out and do the music video thing. And
do you have a separate website for the Revenant Ones?
We do. I need to change the address of it, but it is at the because, like I said, originally this band was originally just going to be a solo project, so it was just called Matt Long. So if you go to www.mattlong.net, I believe that is the website for the Revenant Ones as well as my own kind of thing. So I'm going to try and, if I can, find a new address for the Revenant Ones. But that is the official website for that band. And then Catfish is www.catfishbluesband.co.uk, I believe. Something along those lines. You can find it on the Facebook page, which is Catfish, and it should be easy to find through there if anyone is interested.
Yeah, well, they will be, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely. But, right, last few questions I've got here. Who would you say is your top 5 guitarists who influenced you?
Top 5. Ooh, that's a good one. I would say the main guy, number 1, would be Joe Bonamassa, because he was the guy who I saw play 2009 at the Royal Albert Hall. That big DVD he did, the first one, and that gig changed my life. It was I remember vividly kind of standing up as soon as it was finished and just being like, I don't want a real job. I want to be a guitar player. I want to play music for a living. I want to play on stages like this, and just this is what I want to do in my life. So he changed my life to what it is now, to all this, guitars and music, all that good stuff. And I don't think I would have had the drive to do it if I hadn't seen him play and him come from. He started off quite small and underground. I remember originally seeing him at a festival. Cornbury, I think, the little Cornbury festival, tiny little festival, a great festival. I remember seeing him for the first time there. I was about probably 11 years old at the time, and I loved him then. He was fantastic. And at that point, he was my favorite guitar player from that moment. But it wasn't until the 2009 gig that I was like, this is what I want to do. So yeah, Joe has always been. I've met him quite a few times as well, and he's always been great to me. He's a lovely chap, and he's a great guy to have as your hero. He really is. He's just fantastic. Who else? So that's number 1. Number 2 would probably be BB King. You can't be a blues guitarist without loving BB King. He's just great.
Totally
he really
agree.
is. Yeah, and he was probably the first. I think he was the first blues artist I ever heard. I remember Dad putting on Live at the Regal.
Okay.
When I was young, and just absolutely loving it. Like, I still listen to that this day, and like, I remember was listening to it recently and just thinking like, wow, there's a lot of like screaming girls on this recording here. Why aren't they at my gigs? But no, he's just fantastic, and unfortunately, I never got to see him live, and I was planning on it, but then unfortunately, he passed away.
Yeah, he's one of my favourites.
Yeah,
Have you read his book?
I haven't. I've been meaning to. I haven't read his book yet. Yeah, that one. Yeah. No, I mean, I need to get around to reading that one.
Best book. I've read it 3-4 times. It's lovely. It's
Really?
written really nice. Yeah. It's like in his
Yeah.
own words, like you're sitting with him. It's lovely.
Yeah, that's what I love. Like that's because I remember my dad's seen him a bunch of times, and he said that he just used to like talk and tell stories in between each song for quite some time. I remember he was sitting near someone who just said, "Oh, I wish he would just play songs," and I just remember thinking, I would love to just hear him talk and just hear him tell stories, all these kind of things.
There's some great footage of him. There's one which I don't know if you've seen it, is on the Cosby Show. There's one episode with BB King all the way through it.
Oh, really?
And he's friends with Bill Cosby, obviously, but he goes around the house and he's telling stories, and then he's in the blues club playing. You should check that episode out. The Cosby Show with BB King.
Yeah, I remember he did.
He's done Sesame Street, as another one I remember.
Sesame Street, and he did a cameo in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh right, okay.
At one point.
Yep.
There was like a scene where like Carlton was all depressed. He went into a bar and like BB King was playing. I'm just like, that's BB King.
Yeah,
BB King's in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah, no. It was really cool.
So who's your number 3?
Number 3 would probably be a guy called Mark Tremonti.
Okay.
Who is definitely not a blues guy. I mean, he probably can play blues stuff very well. But he's in a band called Alter Bridge, who are one of my all-time favorite bands right now. They can't do any wrong for me. They're just fantastic. But definitely heavy, like not metal, but like I would say definitely heavy rock, orchestral.
Okay.
Really, really good arrangements and things like that. Mark Tremonti is just a great shreddy guitar player. I really love him. And I guess I could pair Miles Kennedy together with them as well. I think they come as a unit for me.
Okay.
Miles Kennedy is a singer who's one of the best singers, but he's also a fantastic guitar player. So I would kind of pair them together because that kind of counts, I guess. Number 4. I don't know, really. There's so many. Who's like a big influence on me? Recently, I've been listening to a lot of Rival Sons.
Okay.
A fantastic band that kind of halfway between like heavy rock and blues, which is obviously my area. I love that kind of thing. A guy called Scott Holiday is a guitarist in that band. He just comes up with the coolest things, like lots of weird fuzz tones and cool looks and things like that. But that band in general is fantastic. And number 5, it's hard. I don't know. 5. There's just so many like that have influenced me along the way. That it's kind of hard to choose.
What about acoustic? Anyone on acoustic stuff that has influenced you?
Well, kind of. There's never really been anyone. I never really sat down and listened to a lot of acoustic recordings. So that should be something I should rectify. Like Tommy Emmanuel.
Kebmo is another.
I do love me some Kebmo. Kebmo is fantastic. I don't know. I can't think of a 5th. Basically, so many people have influenced me that it's it's. I'll give it to David Gilmour.
David Gilmour, okay.
David Gilmour. I love me some Pink Floyd. I think he was one of the guys who made me really appreciate tone a lot, like different kinds of tone, like not having the same sound the whole night. And he'll probably be a big one for me. So I'll give it to David Gilmour.
Okay, what's your favourite pedal on your pedal board?
Ooh, nerdy questions. I like it. I've just recently set up my brand new pedal board, which is bigger than my old one, naturally. And there's a few new pedals on that I'm really enjoying playing. But I got to say, there are 2 pedals that I think should be an essential on a lot of people's boards, other than whatever your taste in overdrives is and natural kind of thing. And I would say it's a tie between an EQ pedal,
okay,
but I've got a Boss GE7, which I have in the effects loop, and it just helps so much with shaping your tone. So with this pedal, I can plug into, if I got this board, I can plug into any amp. As long as it's got an effects loop, I can make it sound how I want it, which I think is really essential for flying about, doing gigs, which I've been doing a lot more recently. But I would say my favorite pedal to play with has got to be my Electro Harmonix Micropod.
Okay.
With just octaves, and it just makes it just, if you want a riff, like if you've got a chunky like rockin' sounding riff, put a pog on it, it will be even more chunky and even more rockin'. And like there have been times I've just not wanted to turn it off just because it sounds so cool, but you kind of have to, because it will get in the way of a lot of things. But when you turn it on and just hit a really huge riff, it's just so cool. So I will say that one.
And if you had to remove one from your board, what one would it be?
To remove one. Oof.
Look at the worry.
I don't know. Like it's because a lot of these new ones I've got are kind of just fun little things that you probably want to turn on like once or twice a night. I would say, I don't know.
I mean, you could do it.
It's hard, Tommy. It's hard. I would say I could probably live without. I've just got a few more modulation pedals.
Right.
I've got a chorus, a flanger, a Leslie, and a Univibe.
Blimey.
And I would say I would flip a coin, and probably one of those can go, because a Univibe and a Leslie are kind of similar, so I'd probably be one of them.
Is this pedal board going to be for both acts?
Yeah, because
okay.
I can't be bothered to take things off and put it back on again.
Okay.
So unless I just bought a whole bunch of new pedals, but this is all the pedals I have now essentially.
All on one board.
Yeah, all on one board, so I can do anything at once. But yeah, no, I wanted to have a board that I could, like I say, plug into any amp and get like a similar tone with. Like I do use my Mesa Boogie a lot for my own gigs, but for instance, if I'm flying out to a festival and all I've got there is just like a Fender amp of some kind, nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, careful.
But for me, they're a bit too sharp sounding, so I always want to tame it with my EQ pedal. I always want to have more overdrives. So I've got a couple of overdrives and delay, reverb, all that kind of thing. So yeah, I wanted to be able to do a show just on my pedal board if I needed to.
What's your go-to overdrive? If you're going to take one.
Go to overdrive. I've just bought myself a Tube Screamer, an 808.
Okay.
Which I'm enjoying a lot right now.
But that doesn't go super, distorted.
No, it doesn't.
No.
That's more if you've got like a slightly overdriven amp already, and then you want to kick it in a bit more. So I would say what I've got on the board at the minute, and I've had for probably the last 5 years now, is a T-Rex Mudhoney.
Okay.
2. So it's got the 2 channels, so you can set one for slightly less gain and one for more gain. And I used to have that. Used to be my my main tone for a long time. I used to have a Fender amp, a Tweed Hot Rod Deluxe kind of thing. And that paired with my EQ pedal was my tone right there. It was just I'd set the amp as clean as it needed to be, and then kind of did all the tones from my board through a dual channel Mudhoney.
Right.
And it was great. It was a great sound.
Great name. But
I missed having an amp that had overdrive in it, so I got my Mesa Boogie Mark V, which I love. There's so many knobs on it, and you can do so much with it. Yeah, it's just so cool.
Well, we're opposites there. I like things with just basics.
You like an amp with just a volume knob?
Yeah, that's it. Like I've got a Pro Reverb and a Twin and stuff, but just basic. I get lost with all them.
Yeah, I love people who can plug into this kind of stuff and make it sound great. And I would say you definitely count as one of them. So
yeah, well,
it's fair enough for you.
It's all the bloody knobs on the other things, the volume, and then a drive, and then say I'm like, just.
I get that. Yeah,
but you're younger, so you probably
I like having weird sounds. I like changing things up, and I like weird sounding things, and I like nice sparkly clean sounds. I like nice mid-range, overdriven tones, and I like super heavy, high gain stuff as well. So I needed something that could do all of that. But I would love to one day just get like a Princeton or something like that and just kind of plug straight into it and record some stuff with that.
The Vibra King I'm using now is nice.
Yeah, my friend used to use Vibra King all the time, and that sounded great. It's Fender amps are great. I used to play one exclusively all the time, and essentially Mesa Boogie's the clean tones in them are essentially just kind of souped up Fender tones, to be honest. So it's probably still in the same area. But there's a lot going on. Some would say too much.
No. It sounds great, Matt. You're doing it fine. You just got to keep it going, keep it coming, keep the new stuff coming.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I've got a quick 7 yes/no sort of short answers, so you can't thinking about it now, right?
I have been waffling on too much, so I'm all up for some lightning round questions.
This is just basic, quick, right? So,
okay.
What's your favourite colour?
Black.
Marmite, yes or no?
Yes.
Stairs or lift?
Lift.
Gibson or Fender?
Oof, Gibson.
Report it or ignore it?
Report it.
Bonamassa or Eric Gales?
Bonamassa. I love Eric Gales, but Bonamassa.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yeah, well, thank you again, Matt, for your music and your friendship, and I hope to see you soon. Really do.
I hope to see you soon as well, man. Yeah, I hope you're doing okay over there, and thank you so much for having me.
No,
really appreciate it.
We've got to do what we got to do, but it's just a shame we don't get to hang out more. I wish I could hang out with you, with all the players more, but life gets in the way.
Absolutely, yeah. It's the musician's curse of we never get to hang out with each other because we're always so busy doing other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure we'll run into each other at some point soon, man.
Yeah, and your mum and dad.
We have to have a jam.
Give your mum and dad my best.
Will do, man. Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, look after yourself. You've got your websites down. I'll put links on there, and if anyone wants to check out Matt and Catfish, check them sites out. New albums coming soon. Yeah, definitely. And check it. That's another thing. Yesterday, I caught some of your act on the Facebook thing. It sounded good. It sounded really good this side.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah. I've spent the last couple of days trying to set everything up, so I can actually have recorded sound rather than just a phone mic thing.
Yeah, we got to find a way to jam.
Yes, man, absolutely. Well, I've actually been thinking about how I would do that. I've got some other guys interested in doing some stuff as well, so I'm definitely going to add you to the list.
Yeah, but try it. I don't know if it'll work this way, digitally.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure I'll find a way. There must be a way.
I don't think there's too much latency at the minute, so.
Yeah. Exactly. I'm sure we'll find a way. Don't worry.
But yeah, and definitely live. We should hook up and do something one time. If it ain't.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the future.
Yeah, I remember when we did the Swanage Blues Festival and you handed me your guitar just because you saw me out the corner of your eye, and because I remember thinking, wow, you have iron girders for strings. I used my wimpy 9s and you had like gauge 13s on there or something.
Yeah. I could see you sweating.
Yeah, it was rough. Yeah, man, we absolutely should jam at some point.
Well, we should because we're from the same area, same neck of the woods.
Yeah.
I'm from Basingstoke. I know you're down the road a bit, but that area is. There's a lot of people around there that like what we all do, like the blues. So it'd be good to.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
All right, Nick. Thank you.
Give you the thumbs up.
Yeah. Macca.
Hey, my name's Tommy Allen for TommyAllenMusic.com, and my website is www.tommyallenmusic.com. That was Matt Long with his interview with us today. It's always a pleasure speaking to Matt, and I'd like to thank him for his time. Check him out at www.catfishbluesband.co.uk. If you like what we're doing, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button too, check us out on Facebook. Until then, we'll see you with the next one. It's a word from our sponsors. Hey, Coco!